Mikey, why don't you tell everyone about yourself?
I'm 25 years old from Suffern, New York. Played hockey throughout, most of my life, whether it be roller or ice hockey. And then after my hockey career ended, I was able to, with more time on my hands, with being graduated from college, kind of having the freedom of, exploring who I am. I was able to come out last November as a non-binary person.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That must have been really fulfilling to realize and accept yourself.
Yeah, definitely. It's just like I knew that I wasn't like all the guys that I played with. There was something different. And I don't know, I explored whether it was my sexuality or my gender identity, just who I was as a person. I just kind of assessed everything and I realized that this is who I am and this is how I want to, spend the rest of my time.
That's amazing. Good for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How did you get into hockey?
Well, growing up, I was, always a Ranger fan. That's been passed down from my grandparents to my dad to me.
I'm so sorry for you.
Listen, we had a couple good runs in the early 2010s, but
And
couldn't couldn't bring it
well,
home.
in the 1990s.
Yeah,
Shout out Vancouver
unfortunately,
fans.
unfortunately was not alive for that. So I'm still waiting for mine.
Fair. And so what got you into playing?
Honestly, all my friends that I grew up with on my street played ice hockey, and I was more of a baseball player. Like as a kid, growing up playing little league and stuff. Um, but they'd always play street hockey, and they needed a goalie to play. So I just, first I started out with my baseball glove and just a regular hockey glove as a blocker and just kind of sitting there taking shots from tennis balls and stuff. And then
Mm-hmm.
the more I played, the more I liked it. And I found I was naturally just kind of good at it for, never having any instruction. And then we actually have this league that's called the Dare Hockey League. And it's, run through the local police. They host like a street hockey league, and then that's when I first really played any organized hockey. Loved that, and then got signed up the next year in ice hockey for my freshman year of high school.
Awesome. So you're a goalie.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm so sorry for you. I'm a goalie, and so is Jay.
Oh, wow, good.
Yeah, there's
I knew
something
you
about
were a goalie, but I didn't know Jay. That's
yeah,
awesome.
there's something about the queer community and goalies, I think.
Well, they always say that goalies are a little off, and kind of just fits my personality too.
Yeah, same. And I'm going to speak for Jay and say same. Sorry, Jay. Um, what do you love about hockey?
There's just nothing like strapping the pads on and making a big save that nobody's expecting you to make, whether it's just like full eagle spread or diving over or just, snapping your glove out of the air. And it's just, I can't even describe it. I never got that feeling, that love of the game like hockey. And I've tried majority of the sports, baseball, basketball, football, hockey, lacrosse, wrestling, you name it, track and field, you name it, I've probably tried it at least once or twice. And I just never loved the game like I loved hockey.
How could hockey be better for you?
Wow. Well, I think it could be a lot more of an inclusive space, not just for, LGBTQIA2S plus people, but for, BIPOC people, for women, for, whoever it may be. It's just such a white, rich, male dominated sport that you don't you don't tend to see, the representation that you want to see, and the fans don't see that either. So I think, the NHL has a huge platform, the biggest league in the world. That's what people think of when they think of hockey. And you have such a cultural problem still that goes on to this day. And it's just, young guys look up to these guys. And when they see the way that they act or carry themselves, they idolize that. And I can, trying to fit in, I could totally understand that. But at the end of the day, you have to take a look at yourself in the mirror and be able to, ask yourself, is this really how I want to run things? Is this the group of people I want to include, or do I want to be more inclusive and get the best possible people into the league?
I completely agree. And I think, that leads to more fans being excited about the sport, more diverse fans feeling comfortable in the sport, and it becoming a safe space for fans as well as, diverse people as players. Like it just leads to inclusion, and intersections of identity lead to diversity in the sport, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like the work that the Black Girl Hockey Club is doing, it's just like you can't even put like a number or a word to how just amazing that is. The representation, the people that they're introducing to the sport and getting to fall in love with it, and then they can teach their kids and spread it to their friends and their family and continue to grow the game.
Completely. And have a safe space to, when there is trauma that exists from the fact that it isn't inclusive and supportive of diverse people, that you have a support network.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, any team that I played on hockey wise, the guys are always so close in the locker room when it comes to, you know, hanging out outside of the rink, or getting a slice to eat, or spending that extra hour or two after practice just in your half gear just talking in the locker room. I always found it was a close knit community, but then there's also that part of me that was like, I know that I the way I looked at it when I was younger, it was just like I preferred some more feminine stuff sometimes, whether it be like my sister's toys, wanting to paint my nails or wear a dress or whatever it may be. I realized I not only I couldn't do that because of, outside pressures, but fear of rejection from my teammates. Like who would I turn to then? Like I spend majority of my youth with these guys, and then to hear the way that they talk about certain groups of people, and it's just like, damn, I gotta not only hear this about myself, but I gotta actively participate in it just to feel accepted. It sucks and it tears you down on the inside.
Yeah, and we almost it's really interesting because we are forced to conform if we want to play, and we fear not being able to play if we don't conform fully to that culture. But at the same time, it's like another layer of and I hate the word acceptance. I don't think we need acceptance from anyone but ourselves. I think acceptance creates hierarchies, which are BS and shouldn't exist. But we fear everything's internalized, and we fear coming out to our families, and we're worried about reactions and inclusion. But then we have this separate family in sport that we almost have to come out to as well, and we fear the same thing, because the analogies are always like, we're a family unit, you know what I mean? Like, this is my family, these are my bros, or whatever you want to call it. And so, like, to fear that leads us to hide.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the hiding just turns to shame and guilt. You feel like you just can't stop piling it in on yourself. And it's just like, it gets to a point where you either break and you're like, I can't take it anymore, and you come out, or you do something terrible, like take your life or move across the country and cut ties or whatever it may be. It's just, you reach a point where you just can't take it anymore.
Yeah, it's internalized trauma over and over, and it's reinforced through language, through behaviors, right? And it beats us down.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just like, you don't know where to turn to at that point, because it's just like nobody's going to understand. Nobody's going, like, these guys aren't going through the things that I'm going through. So how are they even going to come close to tell me anything reassuring, you know?
And I think that's what's so special about something like Black Girl Hockey Club, and this is what I want to do with this and a few other projects I'm working on is creating that community of people who will understand. It's creating communities where people are like you and will understand and support you and uplift you and empower you, and we
Absolutely.
need that.
Yeah,
um,
definitely.
so I guess that's how hockey could be better.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And you know, as much as it sucks that it's on us to further this cause and to, be the voice for inclusion, but you have to stand up to the status quo if you ever want anything to change. And I'm starting to realize that with a lot of things in my life is just like you gotta stand up for what you believe in. You got one life to live, you're gonna and again, like, everybody's situation is different, but for me, I found I didn't want to live this life hiding anymore who I was or how I feel or what I want to wear. It's just like I'm sick of it.
And good for you for recognizing that, and being you and wearing what you want and living your truth and how you feel comfortable living.
Thank you.
What keeps you in hockey?
So unfortunately, after college,
It's a great way to start, unfortunately.
yeah, I had hip surgery. I tore my labrum, and I had some arthritis and a crack in my femur. So my playing career as a goalie ended, but today, like, I still am able to skate. So I'll go to my local rink, shoot the puck around. I obviously am a diehard Ranger fan, but I love the sport itself. So watching the playoffs has been crazy. I don't even know who to root for besides I'm praying that the Islanders don't win because then I have to deal with all my friends ragging on me. But it's just that love of the game never went away. I see pictures of my my high school team or my I see a video from college of playing club roller hockey, and it's just like that fire gets lit again in my chest and my stomach. I get those butterflies, that anxious first step onto the ice, walking on. It's just like you can't explain that to somebody that hasn't played.
That's wonderful. I love it. Except, the Rangers Islander thing. I mean, um, you're being traumatized just through the Islanders' success and the Rangers picking first overall and still not making the playoffs.
We got a lot to do this off season.
What gives you hope for queer people in the sport?
Just, I would say the reactions that I've gotten for the most part with the people that I'm close with, and even some people that I haven't spoken to in 10 years since high school or even ever really, just follow each other on social media. But the number of people I've had reach out to me and congratulate me and support me and tell me how great it is that I'm able to come out, or even have people come to me and not come out but say, like, I as a they already are out, and they come to me and they're like, this is another person, you're adding another person to your group now, you're adding a whole community to your group now. So I think just continuing to push the narrative that we need inclusion for all people, I think, is what's going to further, the just everything.
Well, yeah, your lived experience, your life is humanizing something that, because most of the players are, come from middle to upper class, cis, white, hetero men, like your life is showing them that you don't necessarily have to conform fully to that, and you can be whoever you are authentically and still love the sport and still be their friend and still be the person that they know. That's
Yeah,
powerful.
I'm still the same Mikey Boyd. I'm still the same. Besides my hip, I'm still the same goalie I was. If I had the chance, I would strap on the pads and make that diving save again and be the same exact save that I made before I came out. But now you know, I'm helping further the equality in the game, which is, that just makes me feel so good when I retweet something from you and I get a favorite from somebody that I didn't expect to, see. It's just like it's amazing. And it's just so nice to see that acceptance and that's like that good camaraderie spread.
That's awesome. I love it. Mikey, you're changing the world. You're changing your friend group. You're evolving things, and that's powerful because they're probably going to stay in hockey. Hockey people tend to stay in hockey, and they're going to coach. They're going to have potentially have children who play in different things, and you're just being you is shifting culture. It's strong. It's powerful. It's brave.
It's amazing when you put it like that, but I just think it's just, living my truth.
And that's powerful and brave, and you're changing the world. So thank you.
Absolutely. As are you, Brock.
Well, thanks.